Hi Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your Mercury Retrograde reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you are interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be linked and listed in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, just a warning and a reminder not to engage with anybody who solicits you in the comment box below, saying that they are me, and asking if you want a reading. I am actually closed to private readings at this time. So now let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. Now let's let the bulls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Oh, and let's talk about this Mercury retrograde for just a moment before shuffling the cards. Now, this Mercury retrograde is, of course, in Aquarius, and this is going to be a time where this Mercury retrograde isn't quite as intense as it could be. So that's a bit of a blessing right here. Actually, that's very much of a blessing. But it is a time where we can feel a bit aloof from things, because the Aquarius energy, as much as it is very spiritual, very balancing, very inquisitive, it can also have an aloof aspect to itself. So do be mindful of that. Now, if you are sensitive to the movements of the planets, if you are sensitive to the stars, the pre-retrograde, okay, the beginning of the retrograde effects start on January 15th. So this retrograde goes from the 30th of January to the 21st of February, but there is the beginning of the retrograde that starts on the 15th of January, where we go into pre-retrograde, pre-Mercury retrograde. So if you're sensitive like I am, you can start to actually see a little bit of this kind of creeping into your life here and there. So it is just to be forewarned about that. Okay, now let's begin. How will Taurus be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Taurus be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Taurus be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. Angels, ooh, goodness. Not yet. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. angels, and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels. Oh, goodness. There we go. And one bonus card. So let's move all of this down so that that bonus card can fit. How does that look for you guys? Okay, fantastic. All right, and let's see your chakra energy for this time. How will Taurus be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Taurus be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. So we're starting here with the soul star chakra located 6 inches above your crown. This is the soul's healing. So there's going to be a lot of healing that comes from this Mercury retrograde, which is a beautiful place to begin. Because even though we think of Mercury retrogrades in a very certain way, we think of, communication being all muddled up. We think of things becoming a bit crazy and intense and, everything like that. What is really, really cool is that I was reading about this astrologer, Aaron Sullivan, Aaron Sullivan discovered that the retrograde time that Mercury, that we spend in Mercury, and the direct time that we spend in Mercury, so retrograde is when it moves backwards and direct is when it moves forward, is equal to the time that humans spend awake and asleep, which is astounding, which is just like, I just found it mind-blowing, and I found that it made so much more sense than the way that I originally looked at, and the way most people look at Mercury retrograde. So it's just a time where everything gets crazy, you're communicating with somebody, they're not understanding, yes, but this is also a time where we are called to take stock of what's happening in our lives, what subconsciously we are trying to tell ourselves, so that subconscious self becomes more and more powerful, more and more aware within our lives. So the things that we're tripping over during this time are the things that our subconscious is saying, please look at me, please look at me. And that's where the retrograde comes in. That's where the muddled up things come in. So you have soul's healing. You have yourself really healing by facing and by looking at everything that needs to be seen. And then this moves you to peace, the crown chakra, which is absolutely beautiful. The energy around here, the crown chakra, of moving towards a place of peace, a place of, that's just it, a place of a sigh, a place of a feeling more at home, more centered. And here, there's your dreams come forward with your third eye chakra. There's an opening up of your greater wisdom, of your insight, excuse me, of your greater understanding. There's a sense of dreams and the subconscious really making themselves known during this time. Now, the left-hand side is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. And, of course, you have one bonus card. Now, let me just steal a sip of water before we begin. All right. Oh, that's much better. So we start off here with the wheel, which is the wheel of fortune. The 2 of air, the 2 of swords, the 5 of fire, okay? The chaos, for this sake of chaos. And then we have the awakening, which is also the hanged man. This moves you then to the Knight of Fire, okay? Fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But the Knight of Fire comes forward. This Knight of Wands, there we go. The 9 of Airs, nightmares. Okay, the 10 of fire, oh wow, okay, the 10 of wands, the carrying everything on your back. And then you have the sun. Oh, I love this. So your passion, your determination it feels like it's being tested. It's not being tested. It's being called forward. So maybe it is being tested. It's being called into the forefront of yourself. Your passion really does run high. Your determination guides you. This leads you then to the High Priestess. In the public arena, you see things much more instinctually, much more powerfully. The Four of Water, the Four of Cups. Divinity is going to be handing you a gift, but in such a roundabout way that at times you're not going to see it as a gift at all. And then you have the Two of Earth, Two of Pentacles. The repeat of the number 2 here is a collaborative and creative time, even though it feels like this time, things can just go wrong a bit more easily than you would think, than normally, right? But there's a time here that you're connecting with your inner self, that you're connecting with your inner power, and it's starting to move you forward in a way that you hadn't anticipated, you hadn't thought. And then it moves you to the Lovers, which is Gemini energy, time frame May 21st to June 20th, especially if you're on the cusp with Gemini. Here, Taurus, this comes out very powerfully, but you're rooted in all major arcana cards. You are rooted in an awakening to what your soul really wants, to your happiness, to your joy, and to falling in love in life. And that's a powerful place that this Mercury retrograde is bringing you. And then you have the Queen of Water, the Queen of Cups. It says here, it says tender-hearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. And that's what you're embracing during this time. But you have the Knight of Fire over your heart, which is passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless, and the sense of also being resilient, of being, I have to move forward this way. I have to get there. So you have this energy over here of just peace and of coming together, and your heart is going to be calling for something more powerful and more determined to lead you forward to where it is that you need to be. And you're going to see that this time, even though you get hardships thrown in your path, this is a time where you're starting to see a lot of changes. You have a completion of a cycle coming forward with the repeat of the number 10. And you have the repeat of the number 2. It's 3 times. So divinity is calling forward this collaboration, and it is a collaboration with divinity that is guiding you. Now let's see the energy that you have to be mindful of during this Mercury retrograde. We're going to go with energies here, not just people, because it's not going to be one set of people. It's going to be the energy that any of these people can bring forward to the table. So let's see here. What energy does Taurus need to be mindful of during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? What energy does Taurus have to be mindful of during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic, these 3. So we have here Justice, which is Libra energy, time frame September 23rd to October 22nd. But this is the energy of somebody who needs to be letter of the law. This could be somebody who's ruling over you during this time by rules, by demanding, by saying it has to be like this, it has to be like that. If you're not doing it this exact way, you are obviously wrong. I can't believe this. And it's going to be from a place of frustration. And this is not a place of discernment. They have to become more discerning with the energy that they're letting run their lives, that they're letting move them forward. But you're going to see that this person is rather reactionary, very much like a firecracker, like just somebody who just goes off on things. And it becomes very intense. It becomes very overpowering if the balance cannot be called forward. And this is for you. You need this balance. And that's going to be one of the things that you really are calling into your life during this time. It's a sense of greater balance, greater understanding, greater connection with who you are and where you want to be and what it is that you desire. And so a lot of that is going to be called forward. So it's kind of like, it's gross, but because Spirit is showing me like a pimple that is being popped. And I know you're not supposed to pop them, but you do anyway, right? So here it's like you're releasing all that negativity from you and it's just popping out. And it's going to be like it's going to be like a weight lifted off of your shoulders. And one of the things you have to be very mindful of during this Mercury retrograde is not getting into really big arguments, or not getting into arguments with people, because there is going to be this sense of a change coming forward. There is going to be this sense of a power coming forward that's leading you towards more. And there's going to be such frustration with everything that's holding you back, everything that's kind of getting in the way. It's kind of like being stuck in cement at times. You have to chisel your feet out of it, that it can almost become too much. So just be mindful of that during this time, Taurus. I know that's not what anybody wants to hear, but it is something that is good to be warned of. And then you have the Aquarius energy. So you have the beautiful energy of Aquarius coming forward, which we're asking here, what energy do we need to be mindful of? And so it's the aloofness that the Aquarius energy brings during this time frame. And so here you can find that you yourself feel more aloof, less connected to people than you had before, or that you need to just kind of step back and look at things. This is also a sense of somebody being very, very overwhelmed by emotions, or the energy of people being overwhelmed by emotions and letting their emotions get the better of them. Also note that during this time, it can also be that as these people let their emotions get the better of them, you also let your emotions get the better of you. That's why the energy of the soul's healing, the soul star chakra and the crown chakra are so important to heal you, to balance you, and to bring forward peace. And then it leads you to the Princess of Cups. This is a person who likes to make drama for the sake of drama, who likes to just be overwhelming and just too intense. So this is an energy of people who are manipulating other people's emotions. They know how to play you, and they will. Aquarius. And it can be this Aquarius energy right here. They know how to add fuel to the fire, Taurus. And that's going to be something that you have to be very, very mindful of. And it's not going to be adding fuel to the fire. They almost kind of drown you in emotions, in chaos, in need. And this can even be just somebody that you're watching. This can be something that you're really curious about and you're researching it. And then all of a sudden, the emotions of it, a movie that you're watching, it just sticks in your head. The emotions of it become astoundingly overwhelming. It becomes too overwhelming, too overpowering. And it's just ripping away your joy and your healing. And so here with the soul star chakra, you need that healing energy to guide you into that secure, safe, prosperous, bountiful place. And so here there is a sense of balance needing to come in. And during Mercury retrograde, you can feel like balance is the last thing that you're getting. Like you're so far from balance that it feels overwhelming. But the sense here is that this is kind of a clearing house. This is a moving forward in greater understanding, in greater prosperity, in greater balance. And this is a sense of having what's needed dredged to the surface, come to the surface and be cleared out. And it leads you with this sense of healing, with this sense of coming together, with this sense of, oh, wow. And it's kind of like, instead of turning outward, which is what you're going to want to do, or you're going to want to internalize things and kind of make it into a bit of an argument, it's turning inward and saying, divinity, how do you want me to move forward? Soul, what is it that you require of me? Like, where is it that you want me to be? Because you need to connect with the peace. If you don't connect with the peace, you can be just swept away with the current of, emotions being too intense, doubts, hardships coming forward. And it's like, I never wanted to be here. I never wanted to do this. Why the heck is this happening? I can't move forward the way that I want to, or there are such roadblocks in my way. And this becomes a time where you need to just kind of settle yourself, look at what brings you peace and incorporate that into your life. Now, whether that be what brings you peace is, going for a walk, connecting with nature, that would be fantastic. If it's really cold where you are, like it is where I am, you can go for a walk on the warmer days, but just even sitting in the sunlight, or, standing outside for a little bit and breathing in the fresh air can be so important and so centering for you. And it's finding that peace. It's finding that thing that centers you, that takes away the rest of the world. And it's not going deeper into the world. It's not saying, oh, my peace is, doing whatever and communicating with a whole bunch of people. It's, my peace is centering with me, focusing on me, because there's a sense here that you've been neglecting yourself. You've been neglecting your inner peace, Taurus, and you've been pushing because you have goals and you have places you need to be, and the world has been so crazy. You've been pushing, and now it's time to be grounding. Now it's time to embrace your peace, to embrace your greater understanding, and it leads you to your dreams. It leads you to your third eye really opening up, and you're going to find that a lot of the healing that you need, a lot of the peace that you desire, gets given to you, gets guided to you by your dreams. And it starts to open up a greater sense of self, a greater sense of understanding, a greater sense of healing, because you're going to just, it's even daydreams where you're going to sit there and be like, wow, I really need this, or I really need to incorporate this aspect into my world. I really need to move forward this way. And you're entering into a new season. And that's really what this Mercury retrograde makes so abundantly clear to you, that you're entering into a new season that maybe you weren't prepared for, or maybe you didn't think that it needed to be addressed, like these emotions, this feeling needed to be addressed, because you're looking at things the way that they are now. And you saw two ways forward, but it's kind of like the horns are locked. Things are at a stalemate. And you're looking at it, it's like, I don't want this. My heart isn't in it. But how do I change? How do I move to where I need to be? How do I move forward in what it is that I need to see, that I desire for myself and for my understanding? And so then all of a sudden the horns start to unlock, like the conflict that you're in. And we see this with the Five of Wands, the Five of Fire. This is a conflict of ideas. This is a conflict of understanding. Excuse me. This is a sense that you're looking at things too intensely, you're getting too much in your own head, or you're letting the politics at work, or just of life become too much, become too influential. And here it's like, look at the season that you're in, look at the place that you're in within your soul, and see if it's building you forward towards the bounty that you want, because you're kind of you are at a stalemate right now. And you're going to start to see, as you step back and as you say, what is me? Like, what is it that I want? Like, where is it that I want to be? And you're going to start to see that roads start opening up that you hadn't even expected. Things start moving forward that you hadn't even thought of. And it starts to open up a new world, a new way of seeing things, a new way of being. And you're entering into this new season, this Wheel of Fortune time, where things start to change. And it's like, I've been waiting for this change for so long. And as you wait for this change to come forward, or as actually you're embracing this season, and as you embrace your new season, and as you embrace this place where you are, it's kind of like Spirit is just saying, dress appropriately. So it depends on where you are in the world. Like, as I said, with the relating of the spiritual energy, the chakra energy, getting out into the outdoors, like getting outside is so important, and just connecting or sitting in the sun. But if you're not in a colder climate, getting outdoors might not be as hard. So here it's like, it's walking into the season that you are in and embracing it accordingly. And so here with the Five of Wands, there's a sense of, things coming at you that are petty, that are manipulative, that are overwhelming, and you're going to see yourself really dealing with them as best you can and as powerfully as you can. And you're going to see, you're starting to change the way that you're looking at it. You're starting to change the way that you're seeing how it is that you move forward. And you're taking yourself out of a lot of situations. You're sitting there and saying, is this worth my time? Is this worth my effort? Is this a fight that I even want to be fighting? And it starts to open up doors for you. It starts to open up your way forward. And it leads you to this powerful and brilliant awakening. It leads you to eyes wide open type of sentiment. And you have that awakening here with also the High Priestess in the public arena. There's going to be something here where it's like, it's actually going to be in your inner self, like the straw that broke the camel's back. It's going to be too much. And then you start to step back and you start to see, like, well, that isn't what I wanted. That isn't where I wanted to be. And things get muddied. Things get, colored by people's emotions, or colored by people's, preconceived conceptions. And you're going to step back and say, but what is it that I want? Like, where is it that I want to be during this Mercury retrograde? Because what you're facing and everything that you're tripping over are the nightmares of your subconscious, is what is holding you back subconsciously and is what's making it so hard to move forward to where it is that you want to be in the waking world, in this conscious world. And so your heart is now a defender, a passionate and determined defender of what you want from life, of the reason you get out of bed in the morning, of where it is that you want to be, of what it is that you desire. And you're going to see yourself really starting to open up to these ideas. You're really going to start to see yourself, sitting there and saying, what is it that lights my fire? What is it that keeps me going? Where is it that I want to be? And you charge forward with this ferocity of spirit, with this openness of heart. And you're going to reach, kind of roadblocks along the way, because the 9 of Swords, the 9 of Air, it's being overwhelmed. It's, looking at things and saying, well, I can't do that. Or, oh my gosh, I've always feared this. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I'm facing this again and I got laughed at last time and I'm not going to do it. And so here it's your subconscious self really bringing itself to the forefront and saying, I'm going to be everything that you're tripping over during this time. And as you're going to want to so desperately and so determinedly to charge forward and to go after what it is that you want and to see where it is that you want to be, you're going to get muddied up, because there are doubts and there are fears and there's overthinking and there's overanalyzing, and there's a sense here of getting too involved in what other people want, or looking at the fighting aspect of it all and saying, well, I have to win, right? I can't let, that person win, or that's just wrong. It can't possibly be. And it's a time here to step back and say, well, why am I afraid? Why am I afraid? Why am I reacting this way? Why is this holding me back? Where is it that I want to be? How is it that I want to move forward? What is it that I desire? And that's going to kind of push everything way back into perspective, because there's a sense here of a fight for just the sake of a fight. And Taurus, oh my gosh, I love you guys to pieces. My rising is in Taurus. I have a whole bunch of Taurians in my family and I adore them. But once the horns get locked, like once the stubbornness comes out, that full speed ahead can just kind of overtake everything and anything. And so here it's like, step back and see what it is that you desire, and also see what it is that you're fearing that is kind of coloring the way that you want to move forward, that is keeping you from stepping lightly, walking gently, connecting with the inner peace, the inner soul, the inner power of yourself. And you're going to feel like once you do this, and I can just feel it within my throat chakra, on my shoulders, there's just this weight that gets to be lifted from you. There is just this power that gets to be given to you, because it's no longer I can outrun my shadow type of thing. I can outrun my fears. It's I can do this. I can see this. I understand me. And that's a place for you, Taurus, that becomes a game changer. And so this time for you is really a game changer. And this is going to be a time where you're really looking at the logic that has held you back. You're looking at the things and you're bringing them to the table. You're saying, listen, why is it that this makes me afraid? Why is it that this makes me angry? Why is it that this is so overwhelming? And you're going to see the truth of it all. You are in a much more, much more powerful way than you had originally thought. And it leads you to putting down the weight of the world that you've been carrying, because you feel like Atlas. You feel like Atlas, punished to have to carry everything, to have to do everything, to have to be everything to everyone. And it's too much. It's overwhelming. It's too intense. It's too much. And so here you're putting it down. And the 10 of Wands is like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be moving forward in my fear. I don't want to be carrying the weight of my doubts and my anger and my upset and my upheaval. And it's going to come out in Mercury Retrograde, because it's bringing forward everything that we kind of don't want to say, but we're going to be saying it to ourselves anyway. And you're going to be really feeling it to yourself so much more than you had imagined. And it starts to open up your eyes to things. And it starts to say, well, where is it that I want to be? And how is it that I want to move forward? And what is it that I desire? And you can almost feel yourself like, Spirit says like being whiny, but it's not being whiny. It's like saying there, like, but why? It's like, why is this happening? And it's because you're learning what to let go. You're learning of how other people have to move forward in their path. And you've been instead of being the bull, instead of being the force to move things forward and like kind of, change things, you feel almost like the oxen hooked up to the plow that can't move as freely as you want, that is harnessed, that is, chained to one place, that is carrying a burden that you didn't want to be carrying. And this is going to be a time where you look at that burden and you say, no more, I'm not doing this. I don't want it. It's not for me. And I have to move forward. I have to look at what I'm dreaming, what I decide that I want in my life. And it's not all about just me, me, me. It's saying, why am I here? Like, what is it that Spirit wants from me? And that opens up the communication between you and divinity that is shown here, time and time again. It's really big in the public arena. It's almost like you need to step back and say, divinely guide me, divinely lead me forward. Embrace the sun, embrace my blessings, embrace my truth. This is a time of healing. This is a time also of tremendous happiness because you're purging all of this from you. It's like, no more, I'm done. I get to be free and I get to be me. And there's just such happiness, such brilliance, such joy, such prosperity, such overcoming that leads you to the place that you need to stand, that leads you to a greater insight, a greater understanding, a greater sense of self. And the sun shines and it roots your heart. And so this is a time also where people are going to want to take you by eyes. They're going to misconstrue the light that you are walking in, the power that is guiding you. And they're going to sit there and say, either, you're putting on airs, or who do you think you are, or why you and not me? And it's because they're walking their path. They're affected by Mercury retrograde in a way that's bringing their subconscious forward. You're affected in Mercury retrograde in the way that's bringing your subconscious forward. And as you start to free yourself of all the burdens that you've put on your shoulders and the fear that it will never end, it will just be one load after another after another. Once you free yourself from that, you move forward in your tenacity, in your determination, in your fire, in your truth. You start to see the sunshine. You start to see hope at the end of the tunnel. You start to see power that guides and brilliance that elights. Yeah, that it enlightens you and lights up your path. And it leads you to the High Priestess. It leads you to seeing things openly and honestly and truly. It leads you to seeing behind the doubts, the fears, the negativity, and the chaos, and saying, this is who I am. You're also seeing behind the masks of people because you're seeing them trip over their own subconscious fears, their own burdens. And so here you are looking at things and you're saying, oh, I never thought to see it like that. I never thought to hear it like that. I never thought it was this. And it becomes more powerful. It becomes a greater sense of reason. It becomes a greater sense of understanding. And it moves you forward in a way that you hadn't realized you needed to be moved forward. It moves you forward also in the sense where you are truly inspired. You are truly connecting with divinity on a higher plane. And it opens up a world for you that felt barred, that felt locked, that felt silly or overindulgent. And it leads you to seeing here that divinity is handing you a gift that had been ignored before. That there is a power and there is a brilliance and there is a truth that had once been overlooked. And now it's time to look at this gift. And this gift isn't necessarily going to feel like a gift. It's not going to feel like, ooh boy, this is what I've always wanted. It can actually feel like more work at times. And then you start to look at it and you start to look at the way that it affects you and the joy that it brings and what it is that how it is that it opens up doors. And you're like, oh wow, this is more valuable than I ever thought it would be. This is more important than I ever thought. And it kind of takes you out of the path that you were headed down. And it moves you towards a place of more authenticity, of greater truth. So you're going to see in the public arena, there's something that happens that at first you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. It's just one more thing that I need to get fixed or that I need to take responsibility for or that, takes me out of the path that I really want to be on. And there's the initial anger that comes forward. But then there's a sense of like, oh wow. It's like down the road and you need to digest this a little bit. But like down the road, it's like, oh my gosh, like that's what it was for. That's what I needed it. Like, that's exactly what I needed, but I didn't know I needed it. And it grounds you in a way. It really does. But it also takes you out of this place of being unbalanced with the two of earth. This place of trying to balance everything and everything and everything, trying to be everything to everyone. And it centers you in yourself. It centers you in your understanding. And it says, oh, wow, that's what I needed. I can't be everything to everyone. I can't handle everything by myself. I can't sit there and keep on saying, oh, don't worry, I'll handle it, I'll handle it, I'll handle it. Because there comes a time, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. It becomes a time where it's just too much. And the thing that you're going to want to do, and you're going to find yourself like really starting to scream and yell in your own head. And you're not going to want to do that in the public arena. But in the public arena, you look at it and you say, this is out of balance. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And so you release what once had been so important for you to balance. And you start to look at it and say, how do I balance me? It's not that you're letting go of your responsibilities. I am a firm believer in responsibilities. It's that, excuse me, it's that here you're looking at what needs to be done. And you're looking at what needs to be done for you. It's like, okay, well, I have to make sure I sleep more, or I have to make sure I eat better, or I have to make sure that I don't take on so many responsibilities and not, kind of divvy up the tasks that I become overburdened. And so as you start to balance things, then you balance you. But as you start to balance you, that's it. You start to balance things. And it's like, oh, wow. Oh, wow, that's what I needed. That's what I desired. And it becomes a time where you're like, oh, well, that's freeing. It becomes freeing because you're putting yourself, well, maybe not first, because during this time it's going to be very hard for you to put yourself first. It's like you're making time for you. You're making space for you. You're seeing you. And you're holding that space powerfully and purposefully for you. And it moves you to falling back in love with life. It moves you to this balance of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine. It moves you to this place of gaining a greater understanding of what you love and what you want and where it is yet you need to be and what is your truth and what isn't and what it is that you don't desire anymore. And you're going to see these changes coming forward. And you're going to see this passion coming forward. And you're going to see this greater realization coming forward. And it's like, oh, that's what I love. And sacrificing everything you are for everyone that you love, that's not going to do it. But it's embracing what you love. It's embracing those things that bring joy, that when you walk away from them, instead of feeling depressed or overwhelmed or angry, you feel light and joyous and you laughed and you feel free. And that's what you're calling in, because your bonus card here is that tender-hearted, loving embrace, is that sense of the sacred feminine being around you, that sense of the only thing I can focus on, the only thing that I can heal, the only thing that I can have any power over in my life is myself. And so I move forward, ruling my heart, ruling my understanding, ruling my truth. And it guides me and it opens me to a greater place that I need to be, a greater sense of me. Now let's see here. Let's go deeper. Taurus. How will Taurus be affected by Mercury Retrograde? January 30th to February 21st. How will Taurus be affected by Mercury Retrograde? January 30th to February 21st. How will Taurus be affected by Mercury Retrograde? January 30th to February 21st. 2021. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Just straighten these out or else it bothers me too much. Okay. And let's look at the energy that's really going to be aiding you during this time. What is the energy that is going to be aiding Taurus during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? What is the energy that is going to be aiding Taurus during Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. And we have here the Temperance card. So this is Sagittarius energy, time frame November 22nd to December 21st. This is an energy of being highly inquisitive. This is an energy that brings you deeper and deeper into the spiritual world. And that's going to be something that's really, really powerful for you during this time. This is also an energy that brings people together, that has people looking at things in a new way, through kind of like new eyes. And it's a time of inspiration. And then it moves you to the Prince of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. And this is a sense of slowly and steadily moving forward in the truth of what you love. And also fighting for what you love, fighting for what is, the most sacred, the most important, the most prosperous to your heart. And then it moves you to the Chariot. And this is Cancer energy, time frame June 21st to July 22nd. This is a sense of understanding the wild side of us, the untamed side of us, and the tame side, the powers that move us forward, the fact that we can be brilliant and kind and caring and, nasty and vengeful and spiteful and manipulative, and that the human emotion and the human capacity for great evil and great good are almost endless. And so here it's looking at that, and it's seeing yourself choosing to move forward in the power of your understanding, in the determination of your mind, in the sense of, this is me. And there's a fierceness to you that you aren't really expecting, Taurus. You always knew that there's a stubbornness, a determination, but there's a fierceness of heart that is astoundingly powerful and astoundingly encompassing. And these are going to be people that you're really drawn to during this time. So do be mindful of that, because it's brilliant, because there's this energy of moving forward and just being really passionate about it. But there can be people who are kind of like passionate about the wrong things. So just be mindful, because you're really powerfully inspired. All right. And you want to make sure that you're filling yourself up with blessings, and not with, with blessings. So here, just keep on moving forward that way, because it's such a brilliant, beautiful energy. Yeah, and not more with the butting heads, kind of the interlocking, the fight that never ends, it feels like. So we have the Two of Swords. Again, that fight that never ends, right there. The King of Swords and the Six of Swords. Wow. So internally right now, you are very much, during Mercury retrograde, you're very much in your own mind. Then you have the Seven of Summer, the Seven of Cups, the Dreamer, the Fool, the Prince of Autumn, which is the Prince of Pentacles. There we go. So that's the Princess. There we go. The Princess of Pentacles. So that's you. It says studious, responsible, cheerful, and a bit mischievous. So let that sign out. And also remember the mischievousness, there we go, of Mercury retrograde, where things can almost seem like they're being tricks played on you. It's like, wow, I didn't expect the wording to be like that, or I didn't expect that to mean that, kind of thing. So here, embrace your own mischievousness, embrace your own way of kind of like thinking outside of the box, because that's really going to serve you well during this time. You have the Lovers again, crowning you in the public arena. You can have a really close relationship with a Gemini energy, but this is also a sense you could be falling in love during this Mercury retrograde, which is kind of cool. That would be a really fun story. But there's also a sense of like falling in love with life and what it is that you want and the way that you're looking at things, and bringing in this sense of harmony. You then have the Princess of Summer, the Princess of Cups, And you have the King of Spring, the King of Wands. So fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Water sign energy here with the Princess of Cups, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So you're looking at two roads, two ways forwards, It's really is two battles that you are fighting. You're moving from one season to another, and you have to embrace the shift. You have to embrace the change during this Mercury retrograde. And it seems like such an inauspicious time to be starting a new cycle in life, or to be embracing a new way forward. But it's actually going to be a time where you're really facing things with a lot of honesty to yourself and saying, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I desire. This is where I need to be. And it brings you to the King of Winter, which is knowledgeable, experienced, fair-minded, and unemotional. It makes you, excuse me, step back and say, I'm not going to be caught up in the emotion of it all. I'm going to move forward in the facts of my truth, in the facts of my happiness, in the facts of my well-being, in the facts of my prosperity, in the power of my mind, in the power of the way that I see my world. And it starts to open up doors. It starts to have you sit there and say, I can be fair to myself. I can step back, and instead of saying, I have to do this for everyone, say, I have to be powerfully, honestly, and openly me. And that moves you to the Six of Wands, and not Wands, of Swords. It moves you, as you are awakened, to moving forward in a way that you hadn't anticipated, to, embracing the choppy emotions and sitting there and saying, okay, it's not always going to be a smooth ride, but I know what I know. I know my truth. I know my heart. I know the power of my soul. And I'm moving myself forward in a way that is beyond prosperous, beyond abundant, and beyond true to me. And so you're going to start to see doors open. And as you're moving yourself forward here, it's like you're working everything out. You're kind of like figuring out how to get all the gears to work together. And then you're stepping into your dream. You're stepping into what it is that you want. And part of the nightmare is that the dream will never come. The dream will never be there. You will never be able to move forward the way that you want to. And you're going to find that's not true. You get to embrace the power of your dreams. And they're not going to just be kept away in that little, dark place in our mind that we go to when life becomes too much. And we just need to take out our dreams for a little bit and let them wrap around us like a nice warm hug and say, okay, you're safe. I'm going to keep you in this box, nice and safe from the world. I never leave you, but always come to you when times get too hard. And the thing with that, if it was just enough for us to look at our dreams and say, oh, I see you, thank you for being here, type of thing, that would be great. But it's not. It's not, because we start to become resentful. And if it is enough just to see those dreams, just to wrap them around you and to look at what it is that you love, then that's awesome. Keep on doing that. But if it's not enough, if you find yourself getting resentful, if you find yourself getting angry, if you find yourself getting overwhelmed, this is a time where you have to look at those dreams and say, how do I incorporate you into my world? How do I make time for you to step forward? And then it brings you to the Fool. It brings you to being a hero of what you want from life. And it brings you here as you release the burdens to saying, how is it that I need to move forward on my hero's path, on my journey of prosperity and truth and bounty and understanding and greatness and being. And you're going to see yourself starting to open up doors you never thought would open. You're going to see yourself doing things that you think, oh, well, that's so out of character, or, oh my gosh, people are going to laugh, or what are they going to think? And it's like, who cares? This is me. I get to move forward. Because remember, whenever anybody starts a hero's journey, people think they're absolute fools. They don't think they'll slay the dragon. They don't think they'll conquer the Gorgon. They think they're going to get eaten by the dragon and they're going to be turned to stone. And so here, as you are looking at your truth, as you're looking at what it is that you want, you're sitting there and saying, okay, people fail to live their dreams all the time. It doesn't mean that I get to be one of those people. And it doesn't mean that you have to live your dreams 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because dreams do also become burdens when they start to become part of everyday life. As Dostoevsky said, we get our utopia and we pop it like a bubble, because we're never going to be satisfied. Human beings are always there to strive for more, strive for more, strive for more, or to have perfection and then sit there and go, it's not as perfect as I thought it would be. So here, you're going to strive for your perfection, and then you're going to get there. And you're going to sit there and say, well, that could be improved. And oh, I can challenge myself a bit more. And that starts to open up your world. And it brings you to being the princess, to being, studious and responsible and cheerful and mischievous, to opening up doors, to seeing things differently and powerfully and intuitively, and saying, why not, instead of why. And so as you start to open up these doors, as you embrace your sun, as you embrace your fun and your happiness and your bounty, it like gives you a whole new lease on life. And you start to look at things so differently, so powerfully, so lovingly. And it moves you to the lovers. It moves you to falling in love with your life again. As you see beyond the veil of things, as you see beyond the lies, as you take a gift. And it could be that this gift had been given to you quite some time ago. And you take this gift for the treasure that it is. And you start to fall in love with your world. And more importantly, you start to fall in love with yourself. And it opens up love. Now, it can start to open you up to love coming into your life, to that relationship that needs to be strengthened, being strengthened, to having love come forward and finding that partner. But it moves you to being a student, to being the princess of cups, to embracing gentleness and sensitivity and kindness. And it says inexperience, but it's like I don't have to have all the answers. It's a bit of a naivety, but it's not in that bad way. It's not in the, oh my gosh, that person's so naive. It's like, wow, that person's seen the world, but has still kept their kindness. That person can still look at things and see things so differently. And that's what opens you up and finds that balance within you, because there's a part of you that doesn't, as there should be, that doesn't want to be taken advantage of, that doesn't want to be seen the fool. And so here you're looking at your truth and your power, and you're opening up your heart to this healing, to this understanding, to this brilliance. And it can be that people try to take advantage of you during this time. People will sit there and see your good nature and see the loving kindness that you have and think, there's a sucker. There's somebody I can pull the wool over their eyes. I can bleed for all that they're worth. I can make them do the work that I don't want to do myself. And you're going to find here that you're a heck of a lot stronger than you thought you were. But also you're going to find that you put your foot down, because it's like, no, you don't get to take advantage of me. I get to move forward. And then you have the King of Spring. You have the King of Wands. And this is innovative, inspiring, wise, and theatrical. This is you taking center stage. You're rooted with taking center stage as you embrace what you love. As you embrace your love, your passion, your determination, your fire, your brilliance, you take center stage. And it's like all the world's a stage, and all the men and women are simply players, and each man in his time plays many parts. I will play my parts, and I will play them well. And that's Shakespeare right there. You're sitting there and being inspired and taking on these roles and opening up your world and saying, this is me. This is who I am. You're not afraid to roll up your sleeves. You're not afraid to go after your goals. And that's what's going to set you apart. Now, the inexperiencedness comes forward, and I do see it more as a naivety. It's like Spirit saying you're not inexperienced. You don't not know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. It's just that there's a sense of, oh, it won't be that hard, or, oh my gosh, it'll only take, this amount of time and it takes so much longer. And it's also people trying to take advantage of your good nature. But there's a fire, there's an innovation, there's an inspiration that sets you apart. And you're wiser than people think you are. And that's going to be a really brilliant thing for you, because you're going to look at people, and with the High Priestess, you're going to see beyond their masks. You're going to see kind of part of the games that they're going to play, not all of it. And you're going to call that power to the surface. And you're going to say, I'm ready. I'm ready, and I'm making the most and the best out of my life. It moves you here to your spirit animal message. And let's see what spirit animals will be protecting you during this time. Taurus. How will Taurus be affected by Mercury Retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Taurus be affected by Mercury Retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides. Oh, goodness. Show me clearly. guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. So we have here the turkey spirit, which I love. It says, give with gratitude and grace. And you're having the turkey spirit around you, giving you gratitude and grace, and giving you the power to move forward with gratitude and with grace, with this sense of peace at your center, which your crown chakra, which your mind needs to be able to move forward in this power, to move forward in your truth. And then we have the moth spirit. It says, surrender now. Surrender now to the peace that you need within your life. Surrender now to your understanding, to your truth, to the way that you need to move forward, to the balancing of yourself, to the harmonizing of your being. And then finally, we have the squirrel spirit, which is one of my favorites. It says, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in the seeds that you are planting. Believe in the power that is moving you forward. Believe that there is more out there for you than you could possibly have imagined. Believe. And start to let that move you and guide you to unexpected brilliance. Now, your subconscious spirit animal message is the hawk spirit. Let spirit be your guide. Because spirit can see more clearly and can understand so much more than we ever could. So embrace that. Embrace the hawk spirit subconsciously guiding you forward. Let spirit be your guide. Check in with yourself. That's going to be so powerful to center yourself, to kind of press the reset button and move away from everybody else's chaos, to say, spirit, guide me forward. Spirit, center me. Your subconscious person message is the King of Pentacles. You are coming across as a king, Taurus. Prosperous, bountiful, determined, dedicated, a force to be reckoned with. And subconsciously, this is what you're embracing. You're greater. You have greater power in you than you realize. Your subconscious chakra message is inspiration, the sacral chakra. Now, the sacral chakra is where we hold a lot of negativity from this life and from past lives. So as you are being inspired, you are breaking the chains of generational curses, of past life trauma, and you're going to see yourself moving forward, meaning the negativity that was spoken over you, the negativity that seeped into your head as you were growing up by the people who raised you, that, became kind of the way that you viewed yourself and the way that you created your coping mechanisms because of the hardships that you had to go through. You now start to release yourself from them and you say, why can't I be the person who breaks this? Why can't I be the person who rises? You are your new dawn. That's why your heart is rooted in the sun. You are inspiration and you are inspiring yourself, and you will be also inspiring others. It then moves you to your subconscious tarot message, which is the Empress. You are embracing your power. You are claiming a throne you had thought you lost. You are looking at your truth. You are rising above doubts and fears and negativities, angers and despairs. And you are sitting there and saying, this is my voice and this is me. I am more powerful, more brilliant, and more determined than you could ever have imagined. You're even going to surprise yourself here, Taurus. Yeah, it says here, lavish abundance, which I'm not reading the bottoms of the cards because that would take forever, but that just stuck out to me. The lavish abundance is coming. And then finally, this subconscious message is deepened by the 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of autumn, abundance, bounty, prosperity that lasts for generations, that just completely moves you forward in a direction you had never thought possible. You might never even have envisioned this for yourself. And it starts to guide you into a greater truth, a greater sense of being, a sense of wealth. Now, this could be money or what you value as much as money, but it lavishes you with abundance. And it calls you forward in a way that you hadn't even imagined. All right, Taurus. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we align ourselves to have the most prosperous, abundant, and peaceful Mercury retrograde out there. That you claim your way of kings because kings guide you. You claim your strength and you move forward to be lavished and to claim this lavishing of abundance that steals your breath and guides your soul. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Taurus.